So we've always been taught growing up that it's about competition and you beat your competition and you're going after your competition. Well, what if it's possible that collaborating is actually better than competing? What if a collaboration, which is much less friction, much less stressful than competition, could actually be better for your business? Today, we're going to explore how to collaborate, the different types of collaboration. And we have one of my favorite people who is an expert on collaboration, Chad Jenkins. Chad, it is just an honor and a privilege to have you on our show.
I think the same thing, other than it's not my show. So I'm very proud and happy to be here. Thanks, Tom. Very kind
Thanks.
words.
Thank you, Chad. So Chad, you wrote the book Just Add a Zero.
Yes,
We
sir.
move the film, outperform your competition, grow exponentially through collaboration.
Yes, sir.
So tell us at the Wealth Ability Show here, where where did you start thinking about collaboration? Why this particular topic?
So I did not have words to describe it, but now that I track backwards and do a lot of reflection, I began to understand the value of collaboration and began to train my brain to do it starting at the age of 8. At that time, I figured out roughly what my father made annually. Being in elementary school, everyone's trying to outdo everybody. And I'm sure someone said my father makes, and you know how it goes from there. We all went to elementary school. So that was, and I'm naturally curious. So I think I stumbled across it. I can't remember exactly how. And at that particular time, fear and greed both struck me. I didn't really think I was made to grow up on a farm in South Carolina forever and ever. Like I didn't think I was going to be a farmer. And I also didn't know how the heck I was going to create enough money to get out of there and to go somewhere else in the world because and of course, I was very young. And that struck me at the same time. And I began to look at things a little bit differently. And I put it very, very simply. I have an innate ability to see the value created through the combination of two or more people, places, and things, which is exactly the way that I describe the definition of collaboration. It is the unique value created when you combine two or more people, places, and things. So since about the age of 8, and I can track backwards now, and over 50 different organizations started, many of them exited, or combined or merged, and you fill in the gamut with that many organizations. It's all been about collaboration. Because starting out on a farm, I didn't feel like I had a whole lot at my fingertips. That wasn't true, but I didn't have a lot of resources to grow really quickly. So I began to leverage collaboration, not just to create the initial value, but leveraged it as a way to grow exponentially through many different organizations.
I love that. And of course, I've mentioned on the Wealth Building Show before that one of my favorite books is Who Not How, which
Yes.
really is a lot about. I mean, that really gets to the core of collaboration. And of course,
Yes, sir.
you and I met in the collaboration group that Dan
Yeah.
Sullivan calls Free Zone in his
Yes, sir.
strategic coach group. So collaboration's been a big thing to me for a long time. But
Hmm.
one of the things that I've enjoyed talking about with you over the last couple of years actually
Yeah.
is like the different types of collaboration. So I know you've
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
categorized them into 4 different groups. And what I'd like to do today, because people hear the term collaboration all the time,
They do.
but what does that really mean? And
Yes.
to break it down into 4 different types of collaboration, I think people will realize that we are doing more collaboration than we think we are.
Absolutely.
In fact, I would suspect every one of us collaborates every single day.
Hmm.
So let's start with, and you go from, I think, most obvious
Yes,
to
sir.
most difficult. So
Yes. Or most impactful.
let's
Yeah.
start with the most obvious one. What's your first most simple way to collaborate?
Yeah, and what a great question. And you're right in what you're saying. There's one reason I boiled the definition down to something I think is very reachable, the unique value created when you combine two or more people, places, and things. So with that fundamental understanding, the very first type of collaboration that you mentioned earlier, we're all doing. Name your top 5 clients. It is my full assumption and expectation that those clients you have listened to before, you have changed your product or service or your offering or your packaging, maybe even your messaging, because you're engaged with them. You provided them more value because of a result of, and they continue to do business with you. To me, that's the absolute definition, clear definition of a partner collaboration. Top 5 clients. Now, dare say everyone, every entrepreneur listened to the show today has top 5 clients, and they've been doing this for a very long time. If you were to get really serious about it and began to engage with more than the top 5, and many of us are, but you can be more intentional about it, you are creating more and more partner collaborations through the organization that you're already in.
So it's interesting because one of the, I actually decided when I decided to maintain a small CPA firm
Yes.
years ago, I decided that one of my tests for a client would be how can I collaborate with them actually outside of that
Oh,
client
yes.
relationship,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
What can I do with them? What can I learn from them? What can I do?
Mhm.
So are you suggesting you're saying that, okay, you've got these clients, you're learning from them. That's the collaboration, not the fact that you're performing services for them?
Absolutely not. No, they're in collaboration with me or my organizations to make them better. And it could be something as simple as you're just listening to the complaints, which I think many of us know I would call those frictions. Uh, so frictions are unlimited innovation for your organization, and you are getting them oftentimes, probably even today, from your hero targets, those you want your business to be a hero to. The convention would be to classify those as complaints, but if you were perchance to categorize them, capture them in central repository, pick up the phone and have a real conversation with what I would classify as your partner collaborations, it would cause you to take action to increase the value that you provide to them. And that would likely require them to take action, which would be sign up for another year or extend the contract or continuing to pay that recurring fee or to give you first dibs at the next project. So those are absolutely partner collaborations, just being really intentional about it, adding value to those that you serve. You'll find more and more of your current clients become partner collaborations.
Yeah, I like that. I had somebody tell me once recently that a complaint is a gift.
Absolutely. Yes,
It's a
sir.
gift. It's something
Yes.
to look at. Don't be defensive about it. Rather look at it as, wow, this is an opportunity. And it goes back to another one of my favorite books, The Obstacle is the Way, right? So
Hmm.
you've got an obstacle there
Yes, sir.
because there's a complaint that rose because of some kind of friction, and that creates an opportunity to get better. So that's a pretty simple collaboration. That's somebody that we're already working with. That's somebody
Yes.
that we're probably have a relationship with they're paying us for something, or we may be paying them for something. I mean,
Absolutely.
presumably it goes the other way too, that
It can.
we have vendors,
Yes, sir.
people that we're paying that we're learning from them, we're collaborating with them. So if that's the first one, and you called that a partner collaboration, right?
Yes, sir. Partner collaboration. Yes.
Okay. So what's the second one?
Hmm. So the second one is a referral collaboration. Two organizations have a lot of trust in each other. They may even do business with each other. Oftentimes, if you're doing business with each other, you potentially could be also serving the same hero target. Again, hero target is who do you want your business to be a hero to? So in those, you're able to come to an agreement between the two parties to refer different business back and forth to each other. Not that money is changing hands, but there's a very high level of trust. And these could also be catalysts for growth if you get really intentional about them. But they're simply called referral collaborations. And I would dare say most of us that are listening also have those.
Yeah. So, I mean, perfect example, because people ask me about this all the time. That one of the first questions people ask me is, how'd you meet Robert Kiyosaki?
Oh, yes.
Well, Robert's a client, and actually he became a client
Yes.
before I met him, because I acquired an accounting firm that he was a client of.
Hmm.
Um, but over the years, he and his company, Rich Dad,
Yes.
and me and my company, we've done a lot of that referring back and
Oh,
forth
yes, sir.
without money. And I've actually found, now I have other referral, and I want to discuss this a little bit. I have other
Yeah,
referral relationships where money does exchange hands.
sure.
And I find that the ones where money doesn't exchange hands are
Mhm.
are better than the ones where
100%.
money does exchange hands, because if it doesn't exchange hands, it's because of relationship, trust.
Mhm.
It's because you want something for whoever you're referring them to,
Yes,
and
sir.
you want that person that you're referring them to succeed. And that's a little different. That to me, I mean, even if you looked at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that would be a much higher level
Yes, sir.
than referring for money. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that? And when do you do one versus the other? Because I think they're actually both. There are times when either one might be appropriate.
You from a refer for money, you mean?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm kind of hard and fast on this. When I mentioned the foundation of my understanding, the way that I interpret collaboration, the unique value created when you combine two or more people, places, and things. When we exchange money for it becomes transactional
Mm-hmm.
and it feels like I am maybe at the goodness of my heart to begin with because they didn't give me the money on the front, but I'm trading services for money, or I'm trading my trust relationship that a client has with me and I'm extending it to someone else because I'm going to get compensation back for it. It's direct. So it loses for me, and this is, of course, not for everybody, but for me personally, it loses the authenticity of it and it defies my original foundational understanding of collaboration because there's not
Yeah.
unique
Well,
value being created.
so I do want to explore it a little because I get that side of it, but
Yes,
there
sir.
certainly are some people um, that it's always going to be one way.
Oh, yes,
So
definitely.
that's
Yeah.
not a
Yeah.
collaboration,
No,
right?
that's not a collaboration. No,
That's
sir.
not a
Not at all.
collaboration. So
No.
well, that's what I'm saying. So if it's always going to be
I,
one way,
yes.
then it seems like then the money exchanging hands makes sense, because otherwise you're just not going to refer.
I can agree with that. One way that I do look at those, because I have some, and I have definitely had some in the past where it was primarily one way. Um, at that particular time, I took one step back and looked. The reason that I'm referring this party is because I'm in a partner collaboration with my client who I am referring. If the law of reciprocity doesn't kick in, and oftentimes it does, sometimes it takes a little bit of time, and then some people are just not that way, and I choose not to do business with them over time. But as long as I'm providing more value through the combination of these two organizations, and I'm driving value for the client, I will stay in some of those one-sided referral agreements or referral mechanisms for longer than normal people would.
Got
It's a
it.
great point, though.
Got it. So the idea of collaboration, of course, is two way. That's
Yes,
by
sir.
definition, it should be two way,
It
right?
should be
It's
two-way.
not one
Yeah.
way. It's like you do have those clients where it's very much one way.
Yes, sir.
They're paying you, you're renting your service. Same thing. It's an exchange for money as opposed to
Yes, sir.
exchange for something, for a collaborate. This improvement in both
Unique
sides.
value. Yeah,
Right.
more
Human.
value.
Right. Right. And that would be true with that second collaboration as well,
Yeah.
where that's the referral collaboration, right?
Yes, sir.
If there's that true mutual respect, which is what I have with Robert
Oh, yeah,
Kiyosaki,
big
of
time.
course, is that I
Mhm.
just I very much highly respect how many millions of people's lives he has changed,
Big
and his
time.
perspective, and he respects my expertise in the tax field,
Yes,
and
sir.
it makes for a really good true referral collaboration,
Yes.
where there are probably others that they want to refer people to me, but they just really want to get paid. So,
They
and
really want to get
I'm
paid.
actually okay. I'm actually okay with that. I don't have a particular
Yeah.
issue with that. If that's the relationship you want, and you don't want that higher level of collaboration, I can live with that. So,
Mhm.
those are the first two, and I
Yes.
think we all do those. What's the
Yeah.
third one? We're getting a little deeper here.
Yeah, a little deeper. So the third one, which is I absolutely love, is a joint venture collaboration.
So, what do
That
you
is
mean by
where,
that?
from a joint venture collaboration, one or both have a vision of creating something bigger and better through the combination of each together. And we're going to participate in the outcome or the success of this joint venture collaboration. So I've created an example, I assume an example would be prudent.
Please.
I've created I am creating a global entrepreneurial collaboration through my Seed Spark Growth Partners. My ability to see ways to grow exponentially, leveraging very simple concepts, which has plagued me and driven me to have so many different companies along my journey. When I began to embrace that and turned it into the business, it is the product or service I'm combining in a joint venture collaboration with entrepreneurs all over the world. And we participate in the outcome 90% to the entrepreneur, 10% to SeedSpark. So no money changes hands prior on the upside. But whenever the upside actually happens, the outcome or the success begins to happen, then we both participate. It keeps all eyes on the prize, and it definitely ensures everyone's putting their best foot forward. It might be a little different than all those bullet points someone written down or wrote down in a proposal, because if they don't have confidence in being able to produce the outcome, they're not going to enter into joint venture collaboration. But when you do, you defy the margins in the conventional business that you're in.
So,
Hugely beneficial.
so you're not necessarily talking at this point in about a new business, but rather
Oh,
an existing business. So you've got an existing business owner who
yes.
wants to collaborate because there are things they don't know. They need that
Yes.
who,
Yes, sir.
and you then collaborate in this agreement where the upside gets shared. Um,
At
gets
some
shared
percentage of basis. Yes,
some
sir.
percentage,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And
Get shared, but it's really the upside in their business. It's not some new business.
that's correct. Not in a new business. It's they have an objective. There's an obstacle preventing them from reaching that full potential. I'm very confident in my product or service that combined with their ability would remove that obstacle and enable them to reach that level of success. And if they can quantify that for me, this is kind of a prereq for my joint venture collaborations. Since we're both putting our money where our mouth is, we're going to be very, very transparent with when success happens. If you want to build trust in your joint venture collaborations, be very, very transparent whenever success begins to happen. And I would strongly suggest set up ACH between the two parties.
Mm-hmm.
The second that that happens, whether it be by day or by week, depending on the volume, you distribute that money based upon the percentage that you agree to with your joint venture collaboration, and you'll cement relationships in stone of trust and grow like you've never grown before. Those are joint
Yeah,
venture
yeah.
collaborations at the pilot.
That's a really interesting point, Chad, because I have found that it's you mentioned it in your introduction. It's very easy to get greedy
Oh, yes,
and
sir.
and even not track quite the same, because you might be
That's true.
collaborating not on the entire business but just on a project,
That's
right,
right.
that they're doing, and so you're looking at the upside on that project, and they're
Yes,
going,
sir.
well, that, and I've just seen this, well,
Yes.
that that increase wasn't really that project, it was really a combination project, so we're right, and so we're
Yeah.
going to allocate it over here because I will have to I because the thought is I have to share, right, 10% with Chad if
Yes.
if I attribute it here. Whereas, my perspective is, wait a minute, I don't have to, but I get to,
That's
because
correct.
if I share with you, I'm going to get more of your attention.
Yes,
And
sir.
if your attention is actually helping me,
Mm-hmm.
okay, then I want to share. And so that
Yes.
gives you more motivation,
Mm-hmm.
gives me more motivation, and that's where that collaboration, that's where you actually see that 10% making a significant difference.
Huge difference. Yes, sir. Yeah. Those that, in all of my collaborations, they have to be fair, both parties. If it's not fair from the word go, or if you had a sneaky suspicion that this other party that wants to collaborate with you, again, collaborations, they can't do it without you. Whatever this objective or this outcome that they're looking for, they can't do it without you. But if you have any remote sneaky suspicions that this might not work out or it's not fair, stop it. Don't do it on the front. Because for the ones that you actually do engage with, for the people that you began to collaborate with, and by collaborate, I mean the true sense of the word, and I mentioned just earlier, you're going to defy the margins. Whatever the convention is in your industry, you're going to blow it out of the water. however fast you're supposed to grow year over year, whatever's considered high growth in your industry, you're also going to blow that out of the water. So you do not have to collaborate with everybody to get an exponential outcome.
Yeah, I like that. I remember years ago, I read James Michener's book on Texas.
Oh,
And
yes.
there's one of the stories in there. He's talking about is this guy who leaves money on the table,
Mm-hmm.
and his junior associate saying, "Why did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you leave money on the table?"
Yes.
He goes, "Because that will make us more successful to leave money on the
Absolutely.
table."
Yes.
So, I do find I've made that mistake where I
Mm-hmm.
didn't leave money on the table. And as a result, it the collaboration was short term,
Very
right?
short term.
Because
Yes, sir.
if the other person not feeling like they're getting more than they're putting in,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of the key,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean,
Yes.
you're willing to pay, $1,200 for a phone because you
Yes.
feel like you're getting more out of it than $1,200,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
Even though Apple may have paid $300 to make it,
Yes.
the value, the exchange is that $1,200. So
Yes, sir.
it's to me, it's just, I think that's a critical point, that it
Yes.
has to be more valuable to you
Yes.
than what you're giving up, and it has to be more valuable to them than what they're giving up.
Which kind of validates collaboration is the way it's mind-boggling to me. If you look way, way back, when we decided not to be eaten by the lions and tigers, when I figured out if I collaborated with Tom, the lion doesn't eat me or Tom. So this is not new to human nature. But in business, like, no, this is my business, right? And I don't, it baffles me because the opportunity just to grow or for it to mean a lot more to me. Folks in this industry normally put 50% gross profit or 20% gross profit. Why? Like,
Well,
how about we work this on the value we're delivering? To your point, with the $1,200 iPhone costing them 300, let's focus on the value that we're creating. Let's leverage others who think the same way that we do, and combine and blow out all the conventions in our industry. Collaboration is the way to do it.
yeah,
And you mentioned earlier,
I
go ahead. I'm
sometimes
sorry.
think, Chad, that we focus too much on the bear that's chasing us and our
Yes.
buddy, and we
Yes.
think, you know what? We don't both have to outrun the bear. I just have to outrun my buddy.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Right. And
Yes.
and that's where competition comes from, right? Is
Yes.
I'm trying to outrun my buddy rather than both of us working together to outrun the bear.
Yeah. I've got so many countless examples. You mentioned one of my favorite books, and I think you said it's one of yours as well. The obstacle is the way. And I think he left something out. The obstacle is the way, and collaboration is the way through it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree, because that that is the next step. That is the
Yes,
next
sir.
step, is collaboration. So all right. So we've gotten three, and
Yeah.
those high follow throughs out there are waiting for number four. So
Exactly. Exactly. So
tell,
next four is the super sexy one. Okay.
go for
And
it.
and this is whenever I can identify to you have the vision with your focus on your hero target. How can we create more value for the hero target? But I understand the capabilities that we'll just pick on each other that Tom has, and understanding the capabilities that I personally have, and have a quick conversation with Tom and say, Tom, looks like we serve similar high growth entrepreneurs. We'll just fill in the blank here. And if we were to combine what you do and parts of what I do and create something new and give that baby a name, because if we had a baby at home and we didn't give it a name, I'm not sure which ones it would be, yours or mine. Yours may have a little bit more hair. So in business and growth collaborations, you want to combine the best of what you do with the best of what someone else does from a perspective of creating more value to those that you serve. By doing so, it gives you the clear opportunity, because you just created intellectual property. You've also just created a competitive advantage. So this thing that you have now come together and named, you have the opportunity of doing one website, one landing page in today's terms, and white labeling it. And that can be on your website, and that can be on my website. Remember, fundamentally, we serve the same hero target. And if we focus on them, it's highly likely that they're engaged with a business like mine. They're engaged with a business like yours, obviously. when we combine together and create a new product or service to make it easier, here's a fundamental rule, easier for people to do business with you, and you're providing that to your hero target, you have now just wiped the rest of the competition off the playing field. They simply can't do it, nor do they have a product and service that is named that or a relationship to deliver that. So instead of signing 2 contracts or 2 agreements or 2 onboardings, you and I have come together, we've created something new, and you win, I win, and the hero target wins. That's a growth collaboration. That's where you begin to become an industry of one.
Right. So, so that seems to be the more difficult of them, right?
Yes.
What do you see as, let's talk about some of the obstacles to
Sure.
that type of a collaboration. What have you found, to keep that might keep that from happening or keep it from happening successfully?
Yeah, so conventional thinking being first and foremost, because not being aware, and I'll make it really simple and very reachable, I believe. If we would all agree that those that we want to be a hero to, our clients, conceptualize that they're walking down the street in your neighborhood, and your business has one of the mailboxes at the end of the street. And the ones that are coming from the right and going to the left sometimes stop in front of you, but they came from somewhere. They came from a prior mailbox, and when they leave you, they're going to go past another mailbox. But we do tax. That is true. It's on the door, right? It's a sign on the building. The conventional thinking doesn't really consider that hero target's journey and open to the opportunity of collaborating with those that their hero target is engaged with before and those that their hero target is engaged with after, right? So clearly obvious, that's 1 collaboration, 2 collaborations, or heck, this is a 3rd collaboration. So just the closed-mindedness and too enamored with whatever the sign on the building says, or even potentially the title and the signature. Right? And that really doesn't define you. That defines you in your industry, that enables you in your organization to understand what your job responsibilities are. That's not completely comprehensive of the way you create value for those that you serve. So the quicker that we began to focus on how we create value for those that we serve, you began to look to the left and to the right and understand that you are able to collaborate to make it easier for people to do business with you. There are many examples. I have one. And this is in the same exact industry. So plumbers, okay? Let's just say, hypothetically, and I have this exact example. I won't use specific names though. You're in plumbing, I'm in plumbing. You guys do a great job at undergrounds. My team, we grew up doing production housing and we do a really good job of putting pipes in the wall. But we only have a certain amount of folks in our team. But if you and I would become not competitors, because you also do in the wall and I do undergrounds, we're not that good at it. And I really wouldn't tell anybody else, but you know it already. We're in the same town. We're the only 2 plumbing companies in town. So perhaps you would be very open-minded, and I would too, of coming together and creating something new, which is a collaboration we're going to give a name to. To the extent we are going to put this named collaboration on the doors of your trucks and the doors of my trucks. Your marketing dollars and my marketing dollars are now working to promote this named collaboration. And whenever calls come in and my guys are busy putting pipes in the wall and they're for undergrounds, I send them to you and vice versa. You send me your in the wall. Now we've created collaboration, and we also are able to maintain our margins. We've also separated for anybody wanting to come into this market. So the closed-mindedness to the convention of the way business is done today, sacrificing the opportunity to leverage collaboration for exponential growth, is the largest impediment. Whoever's listening, that's the largest impediment because it's in your mind.
Yeah, I love that example because, I think sometimes we think of collaboration with people that are in different industries but serve the same
Hero target.
customer,
Yes, or
hero
client.
target,
Yes, sir.
client, like you and me. I mean, we would not
Yes,
be
sir.
competitors in any traditional
No,
sense of
not
the
at all.
word. Okay.
Right.
But me and another CPA firm would be. Okay.
Their radar would go up.
So
Yes.
that be the more traditional competitor. And
Mhm.
in fact, I just had an experience just this week where I have somebody that is applying for a trademark on a name that is too similar to mine. And so I'm having this discussion with the attorney, and she goes, "Okay, we'll check out this person." And
Yeah,
and so I did. I'm going, this person would be a really good person to collaborate with. That
absolutely.
said, I still have to shut down their name application. Okay. So,
Yes.
so it is interesting because I'm having this back and forth with my IP attorney, and the IP attorney, and I said, look, ultimately, I'd like to have a conversation with
Yes,
this
sir.
person, but in the meantime, we need to shut down their name because their name
Hmm.
is infringing on our trademark.
Yes, sir.
And so she comes back to me. Now, I'm going to tell you, she's great IP attorney, but she's a sole proprietor and she is not a business person. And she said,
Got it.
well, I don't think that's going to dare you to them. I'm going, I don't think that's an issue because the fact that I shut down their name because they infringed on my trademark is a
Right.
completely separate matter. If they're open to a collaboration, they're going to be open to a collaboration even
That's right.
after I shut them down because
Absolutely.
I did what you have to do as a business owner. You cannot
That is
let
correct.
somebody else infringe on your trademark else. You basically have given up your trademark. So you don't have a
That's right.
choice on that. But it was
Yes, sir.
really interesting, the perspective, because in my mind, I'm going, she said, well, I said, just do it. Just
Yeah.
take care of shutting down their name. It
Yeah.
won't shut down their business. Just shut down their name. Okay. They'll come up with a new name. But then of course, once we've filed that, then my intention is I want to reach out to this person and say, hey,
Absolutely.
couldn't let you use my name, but I love what you're doing.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think we could work together. Would you be interested? So to me, it's just that's why, there's just this whole different mentality between what is collaboration, but a lot of it is the difference
Yes.
between entrepreneurs. We think differently.
Yes, sir.
And people listening to and watching this show are primarily entrepreneurs. We think differently. We really are wired differently.
Hmm.
And I think the true entrepreneur, the idea of collaboration is very appealing. And really,
Hmm.
then it's more how do I do it?
How? Yes.
So, so if you could give us two or three simple, actionable steps that an entrepreneur could take towards collaboration.
Oh, this is lovely. You have a task list. There's objectives that you have that you would love to accomplish in your business. For the ones that are focused around creating more value for those that you serve, at the end of the task list or the objective that you've written down, maybe it's on a whiteboard or a leaderboard in your conference room, walk up there, put one column at the top right beyond the end of them, and it's who beyond each one of those. And just open your mind and say, this objective that we want to accomplish over the next 12 months, and we're going to have to hire this person and hire this person or launch this division, or we're going to have to buy something in that state. I would challenge you to think differently because somebody already has real estate. They've already got a commercial building. They may even have capacity in the commercial building. Someone already has those folks on staff, trained with a compensation package, with a bonus opportunity. They've already figured out what holidays are going to be taken off next year, and it's already written. Documentation's already done. Do you want to start from zero and build that department or that division? Or would you like to open your mind up to say, I'm going to find the person with the resource that I'm looking for? They already have it. And I'm going to be a little bit open with my vision. And we're going to work together to figure out what opportunity both of us would be satisfactory with splitting this outcome of success. And I'll get started in the first 3 months while you guys are trying to still find this commercial building or trying to hire on board. You probably don't even know what kind of job description that you should write. You have to contact somebody else about that. It's just we're slowing down the opportunity that exists in business growth because we're beholden to the conventions of somebody telling us. I don't even know who they are. I've never been able to identify the they, but they talk about them a lot. You have the opportunity to do it differently just by opening your mind up and leverage collaboration. But write down who.
Seems like it's a lot of, well, focus on doing what you do best. Let
Yes,
somebody else do what they do best and just work
absolutely.
together.
And just split the outcome.
And
Yes.
and
You'll
just
get there so
and
much
just
faster.
be willing to split the outcome because I know. I mean, I've done some vertical integration, and that's what you're
Yes.
talking about. People tend to like
Yes,
to
sir.
vertically integrate. I want to have
Yes, they do.
control. I want to
Everything.
find the oil. I want to
Yeah.
pump the oil. I want to refine the oil, and then
Yeah.
I want to sell the gas to the cars. And probably, by the way, I'm just going to go buy a car manufacturer because I want to own the car manufacturer too, right?
Yes.
Which means that, okay, then I'm also going to go the rubber. I mean, you can go all the way down. You go, where do you stop? And why not stop
Yes.
early is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Stop
Yeah.
early.
Stop immediately. Just stop immediately. And here's the outcome. If you want to go and do it the conventional way, you're going to collaborate with someone, and it could be some big funding partner with all this grandiose
Right.
ideas that you have to own this full vertical. You're going to collaborate with somebody, and you're going to split the outcome too. It's just they're going to get their piece of the action, whether you get yours or not. But if you would consider collaboration as an opportunity and split the outcome, both parties who are already in the industry has nothing to do with the financial return of the money. They're focused on the outcome. You'll get there much faster. You'll find your coffers fill up way faster. And if you want to become vertically integrated in the future, guess who gets to be the bank? You do. So
I
consider collaboration.
I love it. Thank you. Chad Jenkins, Just Add a Zero is the
Yes, sir.
book.
Yes.
And it's the subtitle is great. Remove the film, outperform your competition, and grow exponentially through collaboration. Chad,
Yes, sir.
thanks so much for being with us on the Wealthability Show. Where would we find more information about you and what you're doing?
Yeah, so seedspark.com. And I'll say it again, seed, because a lot of people like to put an S, I'm sorry, like to put a P in it, and it's seed, the vision, spark, growth. So seedspark.com is where my growth partners information is, how we partner on the outcome, right? Drink my own Kool-Aid for entrepreneurs all over the planet. And of course, on LinkedIn, we're quite active there as well. Those are two wonderful places.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thanks everybody for listening. If you enjoyed this show, please, of course, like it, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And because I know that if you're an entrepreneur, your friends are likely other entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
that's, we think differently. We need to support each other differently. And frankly,
Yes, sir.
even just participating in a podcast like this and sharing it is a form of collaboration. And when we do that, my experience is we collaborate, we learn. We're always going to make way more money and pay way less tax. We'll see you next time. Thanks everyone.
So much, Tom.
Thanks, Chad.
This podcast is a presentation of Rich Dad Media Network.